everyone, welcome back to Eastwick Cottage Garden. It has been a while. I missed you guys. The weather has been very, very hot. We've also had some storms and I've been away for almost a week. So I'm going to do a garden tour. I didn't get to do an end of June garden tour, so we're doing a mid-July garden tour. There are a lot of things that have changed in the garden space, and I just wanted to capture that and show you guys what's been going on. Also, I am going to be doing some work in the garden, but I'm not going to be filming a lot of it because it takes almost like twice to 3 times as long to film and actually do the work, and it's being so hot. I just need to get the work done and be safe and get back in the air conditioning as soon as possible. So what I'm probably going to be doing is a series of just doing some work in the garden and then coming back and explaining what took place. So what we're going to do today is I have a couple of things that I want to show you. I got some garden art and I got the viburnum, and I haven't planted it yet. So I'm going to show you those 3 things, and then we're going to go ahead and get started with a garden tour. Okay, so what we got here, let's start with the viburnum. And this is, it's a quart container. It is a sweet talker viburnum. And I got this from Creekside Nursery. So this is the card for it. This is Sweet Talker Viburnum. And the specs on it are that it grows 8 to 10 feet tall and 3 to 5 feet wide. So I'm going to put it in the back corner where the hydrangea was, see if that works. It's sun to part shade is where it is. So I'm thinking it might do well there. It has flowers in the spring and it's supposed to be very fragrant, and it's evergreen. So I think it'll fill that empty space up to kind of provide a little bit more privacy. And I think, you know, hopefully it'll do well in that space. So we're going to plant that up this week. This from Thursday through Saturday is supposed to be a bit cooler than it is now. So hopefully I'll be able to get out in the garden space and get some things done. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's what we have there. Sweet Talker Viburnum, proven winners. And then I also got 2 little statues. I got a little owl to put in one of the garden areas, and I got a gecko as well to put in the garden area. So looking forward to both of these and to adding them to the garden space. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to turn the camera around and we are just going to take a stroll around the yard. I was looking at the forecast and the clouds have come in a little bit, so it's a little bit more shaded. Actually, you can see that I had to put the umbrella up to kind of keep the deck space cool, especially for Riley and his little paws. It just makes it a lot easier with the sun not radiating off of the deck surface. So anyway, I'm going to turn the camera around and we are going to see a couple of things that have been happening in the garden through the month of June and into July. Okay, so we're going to start in the fenced-in garden area. And I'm going to preface this by saying there's work being done. So everything is a bit of it's in the state of flux. And that's all I'm going to say. Some weeding needs to be done, deadheading needs to be done. So over here you can see that Jeff did come over this past weekend and started working on redoing the paths in the fenced-in garden area. So we took some of the mulch, put some cardboard down, so you can see the process. This is kind of along with the no-dig method. Put the cardboard down and then put the mulch on top of that, and he's going to put the pavers then on top of the mulch to kind of refresh the pathways. And with this kind of mulch, it won't float like usually the black bag mulch floats. So when it rains, this area does get a lot of water when it rains. And what happens is the mulch just floats over top of the pathway and it's very annoying. So we're gonna just try to use the mulch that we got from the bulk delivery and go with that. So coming around, tomatoes are doing well. And I actually have pulled 2 tomatoes off of the beefsteaks here. And we got a couple of peppers that I pulled off, so a couple of the purple peppers. And we have some, and one of the orange peppers. And so we have some more of the orange peppers coming in. So they're doing pretty well. They survived me not being here for a week and not being able to water. So these are the white cherry tomatoes, and I've pulled several off of these. You can see one here is ripening up, and they're really good. The skins are a little bit thick, but they taste really good. Over here is my favorite one, which is the sun sugar tomato. So I pulled several off of that. I had 3 off of this, well, 4 actually off of this morning. And it's very nice to just be able to walk around and have a little bit of snacking in the garden. I did want to show you that the lavender that we planted is doing really, really well. It has more than doubled in size, and it is flourishing in this spot. So I think we did really well with that. The pot here with the coleus and the campfire marshmallow bidens is doing well. I think it might have some aphids because there are a lot of ants on here. I don't know if you can see them all crawling around, but they might be trying to farm some aphids. So I can come through here and spray it with some water to try to alleviate that situation if that's what's happening. So here, the knockout roses are starting to put out their second flush. I've left the seed heads, the dried seed heads on here because I want to be able to try to get some rose hips to use in some dried flower arrangements. So hopefully we can get a good amount here for that. Coming through the limelight, the little lime hydrangea is doing amazingly well. It's pushing out its panicles, and they're gigantic. You can see my hand up against it. So this is doing really, really well. We've had a few pretty heavy windy rainstorms, and it's doing really well. So I'm happy that, you know, nothing's really flopping terribly. So we'll see how this goes, but it's looking really, really pretty in the back of the garden space. And over here, the black-eyed Susans are doing their thing, and they're looking really, really pretty. I love looking at them through the kitchen window while I'm doing dishes. It's just a really pretty sight to see these. So we also have our balloon flowers. I want to come around to the front so you can see them a little bit better. I need to do some deadheading there, but the combination of the blue and then the reddish of the echinacea and the yellow, and then we have the knockout roses coming back through, and then the little lime hydrangea. It's a really, really pretty combination here. So we have some seed pods here for our daylilies, and I'm going to come through and cut them off as well. So if you look around here, you can see the balloon flowers. This is the single balloon flower, on the other side is a double, and they're just looking really nice with that soft blue color mixed in with the warm yellow and the color of the echinacea, backed by the little lime hydrangea. I think it's just a really pretty combination. And here, I think we have some more life in our garlic chives. The centers are putting out some more life, so I might be able to salvage that. The lavender is starting to go past its time. I'm going to trim this back and see if we can get a second flush of that. And we have the wind, the storm kind of beat this up a bit, but this is phlox that's come in and looking really lovely. So, and then in the front here, we have the agastaki that we planted. You know, some of the ones that we planted are actually blooming, which is good. And then we have the ones that we had planted earlier, and they're doing their thing. I need to come and deadhead this one back. And we have a second flush happening on the scabiosa. So overall, we're really happy with how things are turning out in here. And it's going to be even nicer when we get the paths redone with the mulch. So this bag over here is the old mulch in here. I don't want to put it in the compost bin because it's going to take too long to break down. So it's just going in the trash. I'm going to point out here, you can see in the roadway that we had a really strong storm that came through yesterday, and it ripped a bunch of the oak leaves off of the oak tree. So in this front garden space, things are moving along, blooming and growing. So we have in the back there, we have the Sunjoy Gold Pillar Barberry. We have one on either side, and they are supposed to be upright and columnar in their habit. However, these are not. I was thinking about trimming them back to maybe make them columnar, but I kind of like the wild look. What do you guys think? I have been trimming on them to keep them out of the pathway, but kind of interested to see what your opinions are about whether I should trim them to make them more straight or to just kind of let them be a bit wild in their habit. The other question I had for you guys is, with those of you who have grown the lupins, do you cut the flowers, the leaves back at some point in time? So I know these have got really, really hot, but even with all the water that we've gotten, I think that they're fading back. So is it a point where you just kind of prune them back and then wait for them to come back next year? Let me know in the comments. So we also have our chrysanthemums that are filling in nicely. We have the coreopsis that is blooming well. We still have some blooms on the dianthus, and the zinnias are looking really, really festive with their bright orange. And our Living Easy Rose keeps putting out blooms. I'm very, very impressed with this. And we have flowers on our Veronica, which they're kind of laying down a bit. I wonder if I should trim them back. What do you guys, this is my first time growing a lot of these things, so I'm not really quite sure what to do. So the Veronica, would you trim them back and kind of have them flush back to see if they become more upright, or would you just leave them as they are and then wait for them to be cut back next year and see how they grow then? Very interested to see what you guys think or what your advice would be on those. And we have some blooms coming still on the lobelia. I think next year it'll be in much better shape. I think this is its first year here, so it's a little bit scraggly. This is my first time with lobelia as well, so interested to see how it does next year as well. But this is how this bed is coming out, and we still have our blooms from the double daylily here. Some I need to come and deadhead some of these things off, but it's doing really well, and I do like the orange aspect in here. So this bed does need a lot of care and a bunch of weeding done to it. We planted the salvia here. So some of them are doing well. One totally died and is not doing well at all. So I actually pulled that out. But two of them are doing really well in this space. Well, not really well. Two of them are still alive at some point. You can see they're still green on them. So we're going to see how they do. But I need to come in here probably this weekend and do a lot of cleaning up and deadheading and weeding things out. Like I have right here some bindweed, which is my nemesis. I don't even know how it got in this flower bed, but it's here. And it kind of tries to disguise itself in the vinca. But I know the difference. Thinks it's slick, but I know the difference. But anyway. So I just keep pulling it out. And the delicious candy echinacea are really showing themselves out. And we have our Veronica white wands that are actually blooming. They're going to be a lot bigger in the years to come, but they are blooming, so that's kind of nice. And we have a few more blooms left on the daylilies here. And then they will be done. I'll come in, I'll cut back the stalks to neaten them up a bit. And we have one GM bloom down here left over, but I really do like the seed heads. I think they're really cute. So coming into the backyard on this side, We're in the grape orchard border, and things are doing really well in this space here. We are actually getting some blooms on the Pequito Butter Yellow Agastachy that we planted. And I'm also getting blooms on my Arctic Fire Dogwood, which I just noticed that today. It's very exciting. I'm very amazed with this, the Artemisia wormwood silver mound. It's massive. It is absolutely ridiculously massive. And I did cut it back as suggested, and the one on the other end I did not trim back, and you'll see the difference as to why I was not happy with it. But this, it's huge. I keep cutting pieces out of it because it's surrounding the other plants. But anyway, I like the way it looks. It's very soft, and it's kind of crazy. So the Walker's Low catmint that we planted are doing well. They have filled in a lot. Both over here and back here. They have filled in a lot. So the salvia that we planted as well are doing great. This one is actually blooming. This one here. So very interested to see how they do. They're filling in very, very nicely. And then this white wands as well that we planted is blooming as well. And the echinacea, this is the fresco apricot, and it is doing really pretty. It's really pretty. I think this is like my favorite echinacea. It's so pretty. I really love the way it looks in here. And we have our, I need to come in and deadhead desperately the yarrow, although I do like the dried seed head look. I want to cut them, trim them out, so that we can have some more of the newer seed heads, of the newer blooms come in for that. And if you see down here, this is the little galaxy. Oh, spotted lanternfly just jumped on me. It's right here. See that? Oh, it just jumped away. I'm gonna have to take care of him. I've already killed 2 adults. I'm gonna have to take care of that later. But we have the little blue, little galaxy agapanthus that are blooming here. And it's just a nice little pop of blue in the flower bed. And we have some more over here. From the storm that we got yesterday, within like a half an hour, 40 minutes, we got a ½ inch of rain. It was pretty powerful. It was pretty intense. But we needed the rain. So here are the Midnight Model salvia, and these are doing well. They're blooming. I need to come and deadhead them so that they can put on some more. And this is the other Artemisia wormwood silver mound. This is what happened last year, and one of you guys suggested, I can't remember who it is, I apologize. One of you suggested that I cut it back earlier in the season, and that it wouldn't have that gap, and that actually worked for those 3 at the other end. So I am definitely going to do that next year with this as well. And these are the Galaxy Blue agapanthus. They actually are going to be taller than the little galaxy, but these have been there. This is their 2nd year for the little galaxy, and we just planted these Galaxy Blue together. And we have the bubbler bird bath that the birds absolutely love, and you could see that the sky pencil holly has put on quite a bit of growth, quite a bit. So really excited about that. They're going to be like 8 to 10 feet tall eventually. Takes a little time, but eventually. So I'm happy with their development. And here are all of this lavender. I'm going to cut it back. The bees and butterflies are still having some food off of it, but I want to trim it back, see if we get some more flushing of the lavender for later in the season. The strawberries have come in with their 2nd round of flowering. Oh, look. Hello, little praying mantis. Welcome to my garden. Welcome to my garden. I hope you're finding a lot to eat. Thank you for your service. So I'm not going to stick my hand in there again because I don't want to disturb him. But we have some more strawberries coming out because, again, these are all repeat blooming strawberries in here. So hopefully we'll get some more as the season progresses. And here, our pear tree, our plum tree, which is looking really good. This is a Mars plum. I think it's a Mars plum. It's doing really well. And I came in and I did some edging around it and put down some mulch. I actually got an edger. I'll show you that, guys, that in another video. I got an edger, a battery powered edger. For my day job, I've actually been there 5 years, and you get points. And so I used the points to actually get a battery powered edger from DeWalt. So I will show you that later, which I'm very glad about because I'm going to definitely need it to do the new flower beds that I have planned in the upcoming season. So our blackberry bush, this is actually a blackberry bush that's here, the wild blackberry bush. I did pick some blackberries off of it. They were very good. I think next year they'll be even better. And as you saw in the last video, the previous video, I had covered it. I don't know if you can see that. There's a heron flying. In the previous video, it was covered up so that the birds wouldn't get it. But I've taken off what I want, and so they can have whatever's left over. So there are some still red, they're tiny, and some that are, actually I think they did clean some of this up because there was a whole lot more berries on there yesterday. So anyway, but over here, our full gold raspberries are coming into form. So looking forward to having some of those to snack on. There's some over here too. Looking forward to that. And over here, in this flower bed, we planted these coreopsis together in the previous video, or 2 videos back. And they have been blooming and they look amazing. I can see them from my window and it's very, very nice. And we also have this just delicious cherry brandy rudbeckia that looks really good. And this is the only cosmos that I have left over. All the rest of them died. So this is the only one that I have left. I have to do some weeding back here. There's pokeweed back there. I have to go around the other side of the fence and get that. I need to trim the honeysuckle back. There's so much to do. It was just so hot to do it though. But everything is coming in and doing really well in this flower bed. And I want to come in and mulch it as well to keep the weeds down. And the peach tree is doing really great. It's has a little bit of beetle damage on it, but hardly any. And it just looks, it's looking healthy. So hopefully next year we'll get a bunch of peaches, fertilize it in the upcoming season. Oh, bug. And hopefully it'll give us a lot of peaches next year since I've already cut off this and this wound is healing. Hopefully we'll be able to get some peaches next year. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to point it over here. Our crepe myrtles are crepe myrtling, looking lovely, and they smell really, really good. It came out here earlier today, and I know the sun is kind of causing a glare here, but that's better. The crepe myrtles are doing really, really well, looking beautiful, and smelling amazing. So now we're in the breeze of the woodland garden area. It feels really good back here. I have a bunch of bindweed over here that I need to come in and take care of and just get that all cleaned out. I've been trying to stay on top of it, but with the weather and then not being around, I was not able to get it for the last couple of weeks. So it kind of takes over fast. So you got to get it when you see it, just get it, because it kind of takes over really quickly. But in this area, we have our ferns and our hostas and our heuchera that are growing. And our heuchera that are growing, you're going to hear Riley possibly barking in the background. He is inside. I didn't want him to be out here in the heat. He doesn't need to be out here. It's way too hot for that. So we have our, like I said, we have our ferns and our hostas and our heuchera. And then we have the one brunnera back here, the Jack Frost brunnera. And they have the carex back in the corner here. That's giving a little brightness. So, and then in this area here is where we are going to put the viburnum. I have to clean out some things here. There's a bunch of weeds happening. And we also, I might have missed the window, but we have, oh no, there's some still. The Rose of Sharon, I don't know if you can see that there and there, have started to bloom. Well, they've been blooming for a while now. They've been blooming for a couple of weeks. So that's very nice to be able to see that aspect in the back of the yard. So in this back fenced, the immersive garden space, we have our row of the double daylilies, which is one of these was like in the middle over here, just randomly in the grass, just growing. So that's when I moved to the front. But they're doing well and looking really, really pretty. And we have several blooms yet to be. And it's just really nice having them in this space. And they're really nice up against the blue of the juniper. And we have some berries forming on the wintergreen here. So the flowers weren't as big as I thought they were going to be. So I kind of was like, oh, what's that? But those are the berries, and they're going to turn red throughout the season. They're coming around here. We have the heuchera here, and with, of course, the hellebores, and this just massive dianthus patch. And we have our liriope, variegated liriope, that is starting to come into its own and will be blooming later on. So, and then we have the sedum here that is blooming as well. There's some here and some here as well. We also have the deck steps beds. I was going to end with this, but I forgot. There's a couple of things else I was going to show you. We have the deck steps beds that are filling in quite well. So I just can't believe that this is the Superbena pink cashmere. This is one plant, and it's doing exactly what I wanted it to do. It's growing over the sides of the little rock wall to do some softness. We also have the Diamond Spire gardenia, which is putting on a lot of new foliage and looking beautiful. I have trimmed back these Peter Cottontail yarrow twice already, and they just keep blooming and blooming. I've cut them down, sheared them down twice, and they just keep blooming. The lantana is in this bed, is gigantic, doing well. And here we have our sneezeweed or helenium, and looks like it's going to bloom this year, so that's exciting to see that. I've not had them bloom before. I put them in last year, so it's nice to be able to see them bloom this year. And we have our Cat's Pajamas Nepeta. They're just doing really well. Here, I'm going to trim back this dianthus. It's the Constant Beauty Pink Dianthus. I'm going to trim it back. It keeps blooming, and I'm really enjoying that. And our popcorn drift roses are blooming again. And then these two here are the fresco apricot echinaceas that we planted in here. And this one is the one from last year. And our Tiny Wine 9 bark has put on a lot of growth. This is going to be like 4 to 5 feet tall. So it's put on a lot of growth this season. So these pots here where we have the annual salvia, with that, probably won't do them again next year. I'll probably pick something else. I had portulaca in these pots last year, and that did really well. So I might go back to that, or who knows, we'll see. We'll see what we do. So, but this is the kind of sister bed to that. We have a grass here, Pennisetum here that's doing really well on this side. And we have one over here that's not doing so well. So I want to just kind of give it a chance, see what it does. And if it doesn't do well, I might have to pull it and replace it, because I really do like the grassy aspect in this bed over here. And it's going to put up some really pretty plumes in the fall that will turn brown and be of winter interest. So I'm looking forward to, that's what kind of its job. So looking forward to that. And we have our Azure Rush geranium that is growing very, very well. And it's starting to fill in the space and kind of spill over the rocks a bit. But I'm really happy with how these beds have turned out overall. So coming over here to our grape, this is our Canadese grapevine. I don't know, they're not really super big, but they are starting to color up. I don't know, maybe this is ripe. Is this ready? I'm gonna give it a go. We're gonna try this. Let's see it. It's teeny. We'll see what we get. Hold on. Actually, that's delicious. It's tiny. Oh, look at this. Look at that. Can you see it? Wait a minute. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there is a spotted lanternfly. So I am going to, as soon as we're done this tour, go in the house and get my spray bottle and spray it. Dawn dish detergent with a little bit of Dawn dish detergent and some water gets rid of them. So look at this. I did use the edger on this, and I put some mulch down, and look at Lazarus. Look how Lazarus is doing. Brilliant. Wonderful, wonderful. So looking forward to see if we actually get any figs this year. But it's doing great. So we're just going to hold the camera here because we have a ton of dragonflies just flying around. Just going to hold the camera here. Hopefully you can see them darting in front of the camera. They're wonderful. I love them. I love them. I used to be afraid of them, but they're so beautiful. They're such a work of flying brilliance, and they have a 95% kill rate for flying and catching their prey in the air. So I love them. They're wonderful. Okay, so that is going to be it for our mid-July garden tour. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you guys are having a good time with your gardens, and I hope you guys are definitely safe in this weather. It's been super crazy. Just be safe when you're out there in the heat. I really would like your input about the lupin. What you guys think I should do. Should I cut it back? Is that something that's done? Because I'm not used to having them at all. And also what your opinion would be on the gold pillar barberry, sunjoy barberry, if I should trim them back to make them neater, or if I should kind of just let them be wild. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope your families are well. I hope that you're enjoying your summer. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And I thank you for all of your support and your likes and your shares and your subscriptions and your comments. I'm really enjoying it. Sorry I haven't been posting a whole lot of videos. It's been really hot and I need to stay safe and not be outside, especially with my dodgy ticker. So I will be filming just an overview of what I was able to get accomplished while I was doing some garden work. But I hope you're okay, and if there's any content that you'd like to see, anything you have questions about, just let me know. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.